But yeah, fantastic film. I'd highly recommend that.
Mm.
And if you don't mind, I'll go on to my second, because there's
Of course.
kind of similar one, and then we'll go with yours. But my second one is A Quiet Place,
Right.
which again,
Similar idea, isn't it? I've never
similar
seen
idea.
that either, but yeah.
Again, kind of flip side in the fact that people could see what was going on around, and again, there's this kind of, and you do see it in this one briefly, but there's a monster of sorts that can pick up the smallest of sound.
Yeah.
And if they do, boom, they'll come for you, and they will get you, and they will kill you. And in this one, you've got Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. Is it Krasinski? Is that his name? I've probably just murdered his name now.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's John Krasinski. They're married, whoever it is. They're a married couple. He's in The Office. I love him as well. I hope I've just got his name right. But yeah, so it's them. And again, they've got their kids, and it's everything. And because there's that silence a lot throughout the film, and when they do talk, it's kind of whispering.
Yeah.
It's so intense because you're on edge, because usually when you've got a film on, there might be something
it's loud, isn't it?
Loud.
Yeah.
There might be a backing bit of music to it, or there's always something. With this, it's so silent. It's creepy.
Yeah.
And you're almost kind of, you don't want to make that noise. It's a weird sort of feeling, and I love that. If a film affects you in that way, I think that's what I love. And throughout, there's so many little things, like there's a bit where they go into like a supermarket to kind of get food and that to tide them over, and the little boy picks up like a toy. He finds a toy in there. And there's like buttons on it, and it makes noise, and you're just like, please do not. And I think John Krasinski's character, he kind of says like, no, you can't touch that, and it's kind of upsetting. But then the little girl gives him the toy, and says, put it in your bag, sort of thing, and he does. And then later on in the show, they're kind of moving back to where they live, and then they're like, where's he gone? And they look around, and he's sat there, and he's about to press the button, and he does, and the inevitable happens. And the fact that it's a kid, and you're like, oh my god, amazing film.
Wow.
And there's a second one. It's out. I think the second one's out. I haven't seen that one yet. And
there's
there's
a
big
place. It's a sequel.
Yeah, the monster's changed its tune, but
it doesn't like noise.
But there is a big twist at the end as well, which is really good. But I won't tell you what that is, because I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
What's your number two?
My number two is a series of films. I cheated a bit with it, which is the Living Dead series, which is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. They did do some more, but I like the three sort of first ones. They actually remade Night of the Living Dead, which was really, really good as well. But it's about basically a zombie apocalypse. Something has happened, and people are sort of being infected and turning everyone into zombies. And the first ones, they're set in a house. I think it's in the 60s. The first one was made. Yeah, 1968. So it's really old. The first film. They're in this little. The people come together just by like trying to escape from the zombies, and end up in this house together. And you've got all these different personalities, and they're all sort of fighting against each other. And then sort of like one won't trust the other one, and then. I think there's a father and son, and the son gets bitten, and then they want the son out the house, and then actually the dad won't. And it's that sort of looks into the whole sort of social aspect of it. Like you're and again trying to imagine, God, if I was in that situation, you're trying to keep this thing out, and then but you're almost sort of fighting against who's with you as well with it. And it's absolutely amazing. And the second one is a similar sort of thing, but it's set in a shopping centre, and there's this couple who have free run of this shopping centre, and no one else is there, and they have almost like this dream life, because they go around the shops, they put all these clothes, and it's their thing, and then people turn up, and they don't want those people in there. It's almost like, well, this is my area. I don't want you invading it. And then they finally let someone in, and inevitably as soon as they let someone in, it goes wrong and they get invaded by like these zombies. And then the third one that I love, Day of the Dead, is about sort of a little while afterwards, and it almost looks at the zombies from a human perspective. Like they keep them in this place where they keep them to sort of fight and like really abuse the zombies, but you start seeing that the zombies do have a certain consciousness about them.
Yeah.
So it's looking at it from that point of view, and they're just amazing. They all sort of they're really gory. Like you see zombies biting through people's skulls and stuff like that, and eating each other, and
no special effects.
Really
literally.
nasty. Yeah, just eating each other. Really nasty. But it's. I don't know if because of the age of it or whatever, because even the sequel was 1978, Dawn of the Dead was 78, and then Day of the Dead was 85. So again, they're relatively old films. But the blood is very, very red. Like the zombies really pale, and the blood is very red when it comes down on that. They're really gory films, but because they're stories like associated with it, there's a real sort of what's the word? Like there's a real important message. There's like a moral message behind each of them. The first one is almost because it was around the time of the race riots and stuff like that in America. It's almost like commenting on that sort of thing. One of the guys is a black guy in there. The second one's sort of look at like consumerism and stuff, and and how like, people look at other people. And then the third one is really like how we treat people who are different in society. So it's got like a real moral aspect to it as well. But they're wonderful. But they're films that you could look at and think, oh, that's just a zombie film. But there's so much more to them.
Zombie films have always done well, like whether they're kind of horror films or the comedy kind of parodies that Shaun of the Dead is one that springs to mind, which is amazing. But I mean, it's a topic that kind of lads or geekier lads like probably you and I, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? There's books that my mates have got.
I met in a previous job and meeting different people. I remember having a sort of a meeting with this person in a place. I won't obviously divulge exactly where these places were, but I remember sitting down with them, like getting to know each other and whatever, and talk about herself. And no word for lie, she said, "Yeah, I spend a lot of my time sitting here and working out what I do in a zombie apocalypse." And I remember going, right.
Had it all planned. It's amazing though, isn't it?
As well, like dead serious. Yeah, I've been working that out. Like, right, okay.
Crazy chick.
I guess it's like it's very relatable. I think like the Walking Dead series. I don't know whether it's still going, but that went on for ages. It's something that, and I guess looking at the situation we're now with like the pandemic, it's relatable. These people have been infected by this thing, and it's spreading throughout all these people.
Yeah,
they're still human, but are they? Like it's a real moral dilemma with a lot of it. But not that I'm saying people with COVID aren't human.
You heard it here first. We've just revealed that they're not human. They are zombies.
Shoot them on sight.
But no, that's a really good pick. That is a really good pick.